did it!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Luke, I've been like playing with the opening and getting people on the screen, and it's like finally it worked. It worked. Welcome back, Journeyers.
Woohoo!
We're here. It's Luke Wallens. If you don't know, first off, Luke Wallens is a registered drama therapist. Awesome. Mwah. And he's here, one, because we love him, and two, because Emily is going to have a baby in some weeks.
Oh my
So
gosh.
send Emily your love. Send her the love and the comfort and all of the amazing things that she deserves while she's going through bringing life into the world, and also all the stuff that like puts on you. Like, oh man, just send her love. Just do it.
Yeah. And podcast recommendations, TV show, movie recommendations too, to watch at any time of the day or night.
Luke, that is a great, yes, absolutely. Send those things to her. She would love it. And then she'll watch it, and then she'll talk about it to you later. Don't bother her.
Don't ask her questions about it. Just send the love. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So we are here talking today. Luke, I wanted to talk to you about power. Power. I know.
Sorry.
It's so good because, okay, so this is what I had written, something to the effect of, when we walk into a room and period, the end, and we don't know where the power lies, the status or the power lies, it can really, it can feel cringy, right? It can feel cringy. And in so many situations, there are ways that you feel powerless. There are ways that you feel powerful. There are ways that you can give your power away and take your power. And I wanted to talk about that in coordinates, in relationship to the unknown. This unknown, like where is the power? Where is my power? Yes, that's how I want to start this convo. Now you go.
Got it. Whew. Yeah, like, oh man, it's really fascinating. And the thing is, like, you brought up the word like cringy, and feeling like finding that balance about like, okay, I'm bringing in my own sense of power, my own sense of worth, my own sense of like, this is who I am, but also like like if you're going into, I need to place it in a concrete kind of just for my own.
Yes, do place it. Place this in a concrete location.
So if we're like going into a new job, for example, it's like, say that you are starting out like a completely new place, and you're coming in as one of the many, not a manager, but like one of the accountants in the business firm.
Right. the employee.
Yeah, the employee. Right. Yeah. Hi, Khaleesi. So
Khaleesi is an employee right
now. She's my employee right now. I love her very much. We'll worry about that later. I love you. So you may hear her bark from time to time. So that's a little unknown. But yeah, when you come into that, there's a lot about like, okay, like figuring out like, okay, figuring out your own status about like, and placing like where your value is. Depending on if you're like more extroverted or introverted, if you get like your energy from other people versus like if you get energy from yourself, sometimes like that can determine like how you're giving and receiving energy. I don't know about necessarily like your own power, but energy.
One of the things you just said that was really grabbing to me was where you think your value lies.
Yeah.
That's so, that's very good.
Yeah.
Because it feels like even on stage when we are playing characters on stage, right?
Mhm.
And we talk about okay, so I'm going to talk about character power and then like improviser power.
Okay.
When we talk about character power and what you were talking about, the value, we talk about what is this person the main person? Are they the protagonist? Are they the
Mhm.
protagonist of the story? Are they a side character? We call them side characters, right? If we have we'll say Little Mermaid, protagonist of the story, side character, Flounder, and
Mhm.
Sebastian. Whoa, I know way too many of these character names. But these are the side characters, right? And is the power lies really in that main character, but
Mhm.
Ariel gives and takes, right? She gives power to the sea witch. She gives power to the other dude, the dude,
Yeah. Yeah.
the prince
Yes.
or whatever,
Mhm.
whatever.
Yes, I get it. Yeah.
But as a character, we value Ariel. We
Right.
value Ariel. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
But when we are the improviser, we have to think about, excuse me, we think about where our own value lies, as in what do we value.
Mhm.
Emily talks about this all the time. Like, where are our values? What do we value? And what you're talking about is what do we value internally in the moment.
Yeah.
Um, talk.
Yeah. Yeah, in terms of what we value, what if we're going into if we're Ariel going on land, what do we familiarize ourselves with?
Mm,
What do we like? Who do we attach to? Who do we feel like we feel safe with?
ooh,
And finding that and who aligns with our values too. If we're feeling like, hey, this situation does not align with the values that I have and that I want to uh, that I want to pursue and I want to
mm,
maintain, then this is probably not the best unknown to be in, because I don't know what else is going to happen if
mhm.
this value isn't aligned. Um,
Ooh,
and
yes.
Yeah.
So there's there is power that you can take back in yourself
Mhm.
when you align yourself with the value that is most important to you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of low stakes, okay? I'm thinking
Great.
low stakes here. I'm thinking about being in a restaurant
Hmm.
and how the power shifts, right? As
Yeah.
a customer, you're like, well, I have power. I want to order this, and this. I'll say, I want to order vegan food. This is
Hmm.
what I want. And
Yeah.
so I have the power. I'm going to tell this waiter, I want some vegan chicken,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
The waiter now has some power. We're sharing, right? Okay,
Hmm.
well, I can't get you vegan chicken. I can get you a vegan steak. Or how about I only have maybe I only have salads. We don't have any vegan
Yeah.
anything. I only have salads. And now you have a choice.
Hmm.
And you have so many choices
Yeah.
that in aligning yourself with your values, you can choose. And this is where I feel like we really lose ourselves because we're scared to take that power back.
Yeah.
The things you think you can choose are, well, I guess I'll get the salad, right? Or I guess I'll just drink water. Usually we stay in the situation. You were talking about like sort of staying in an unknown situation,
Hmm.
but we can also leave.
Yeah.
We can go away.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was thinking too, with choice.
Mhm.
Like you have your certain values and certain ways of thinking and being, and yeah, you can choose to stay or leave. Especially in that situation for sure. But also, I mean, also with the job situation, I mean, Ariel
Mhm.
can always go back to the sea. It's fine. So it's like, yeah, it's cool. Yeah. So and like so yeah, it's about like and I think yeah, with and relating to power again, like, and it's staying true to yourself and staying true to your own power, and then also like that choice is always going to be there. But sometimes I do agree that like sometimes like we forget that we have that choice, because we get swept up in this moment, or maybe it's going to go this way. I'm hopeful
Mhm.
that this situation is going to go differently than maybe in the past, but it may be
Yes.
the same situation. That happens too, and so sometimes you inadvertently start giving away power because you're hoping that it's going to be different than what it was before. So
Ooh,
there's that
you
too.
inadvertently give away power.
Yeah.
I love this. So,
Yeah.
one of the things I talk about a lot is, especially for the stage, is when we try to take power
Hmm.
in um, outlandish ways. Usually we do this on stage by being loud and acting whatever this is, whatever word goes with this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sporadic, But what'll happen is someone will get on stage and they will try, whether it's conscious or not, but they will try to be the bigger character and take this power. So they're
Yeah.
loud. I'm an octopus and I have
Mhm.
20 arms and I want to eat hamburgers and
Yeah.
and so whatever it is.
Okay.
So it's great. It's like you're loud,
Yeah.
you're center stage,
Yeah.
you are moving a lot, and you think that all of that attention and energy is growing your power,
Right.
right?
Right.
But what we find is when the person, and now see, now I can't get out of Ariel. I've got this octopus going, right? I've got this octopus, right?
Please flow with it, go with it. It's great. It's great. Yeah.
But if this person is upstage or downstage doing their thing,
Yeah.
you can come in back upstage and back as a
Hmm.
smaller character and quiet and have all the power you see the light came back. Have all
Yeah.
the
Oh.
right? Have all the power in the world because of your stature,
Mhm.
because of your quiet, strong, whatever choice that you're making that isn't flailing. And
Yeah.
I'm wondering about how that translates in life.
Hmm.
I mean, I have some ideas, but this is a conversation. It's not just the Shannon show.
But I loved what you were saying. And like, and one of the ways, if you went to the business that I was talking about, like, but basically, like, you're talking about physicality, and like, and
Mhm.
physicality is like a huge thing. People read body language, a lot more than language sometimes. So it's just
Right.
like, that's it's the first thing you come across sometimes. So uh, um, and so it's kind of like, if you are standing, like, if you have your shoulders back, you're standing properly, and you're kind of like just taking your time walking, through the office, or things like that. That's a huge, like, maintenance of power. Be like, I'm still going to maintain this. This is who I am,
Mhm.
and I'm not going to compromise it, because like this is also a really nice way and healthy way to, just like feels good. It feels good to have your spine, complete in what you need to do. But I also want to like say that, like, even if it's not visual, it is tone of voice as well.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so like maybe the first thing you hear is first thing you experience of another person is tone of voice. It doesn't matter what the words are, but it's more about like, oh, ooh, like you can understand the mood about and about how they are and who they are, based on like are they taking their time with what they're saying? Are they finishing their sentences, completely, or are they just really short about everything? Does the inflection of the words just go up and then down, or does it end in a question? Things like that can really influence like how you're projecting your power, in either giving the way or maintaining it as well.
Oh my goodness. Laura Yannick is over here and he has things to say. Ding
Yeah.
ding.
Oh, cool.
Reminds me of teaching, finding the protagonist stuff in the narrative classes. Yes, how the person who often is trying to be the main character by being still and quiet will draw attention to themselves. Yes, though I guess in that case, it's someone inadvertently taking power, which is fine because these are all the things we're talking about, right? How do we even take power when needed? Thank you, Roy. And thanks for being here. If you have comments, journeyers, comment. We want to hear what you have to say. Yeah. And the idea of how do we, when necessary, take power? Because one of the things I'm thinking about is right now, as a marginalized person walking through the world, you can walk into a scenario and your power might be taken from you immediately, inadvertently, right? Just because people, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you can walk in tall. I can walk in tall. I can walk in quiet. I can walk in loud. I can do all of those things. But if there's a certain demographic in the room, I can immediately be just sort of stripped of my power.
Right.
And how do I get that back, right? How do what you're talking about with our posture, with our voice, even where we stand in a room, right? Like you were talking about just being adjacent, who is in the room. These types of things can help us. I was thinking also, Luke, to bring it back down to very basic, children and parents, right? Or children and adults. I'll even say just children and adults, right? This idea that children have no power. Like, shh, quiet. You're a child. You have nothing.
Yeah.
But they do, and it's important to teach them how to gain the power, how to gain, and I don't want to say respect, even though they deserve respect, but really how to get their points across. This is why temper tantrums don't work.
Yeah,
they shouldn't work.
Well, another factor is on the opposite side of like giving attention, because power just doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's like a dynamic of like, okay, where am I going to give attention consciously, and making those clear choices, being like, oh, it seems like I'm giving attention towards one side of the room the whole time. Maybe I need to give attention to the other side of the room. And so that's part of it as well, about like, there's there's a certain social dynamic, and there's a really great quote from my Big Fat Greek Wedding, which is the man may be the head of the family, but the woman is the neck, and she can move the neck any way she chooses. And I was like, ooh, yes, and so it was really fascinating, because it just made me think about like, okay, and in my own personal life, it's like how I choose to consciously give attention, and where can I redirect it, if I feel like it's lopsided, and so I think that's another factor that goes into this as well.
I love this, what you're talking about, like for yourself, like where can I redirect attention? Because when we are talking about being on stage, even when we're talking about being off stage, but I'll talk about on stage first. We have the power to help someone gain power, right?
Yeah.
By redirecting our own attention, whatever it is. Okay, we've got 5 people on stage,
Yeah.
right? And we're all like clamoring for attention. I'm a giant octopus. Well, I'm a weed in the water. Me too. I'm snorkeling. It's like, Jesus, okay, everybody. But if you can be in the moment, center yourself, scan the stage and see and ask yourself who, and you can do this off stage as well, who doesn't often hold the power? Like, which one of these people usually is not the protagonist, right? Let me my weeds, and direct my attention to them. And we can do this also in our regular lives. Like, I'm thinking in this job that you're talking about, right? You get your new job, right? You're in the boardroom, you're in the meeting. Maybe it's you. Maybe sometimes it's often you don't get to speak. But if you can, but sometimes it's somebody else. Like, who in this room is not often called on, not often respected, not often held up? Can you direct your attention towards them? I wonder what Nick has to say about that.
And that can come from anybody in the room, like regardless if you're manager or employee or whatever office social status you have. So but like it can come from anybody, and including the person, be like, hey, I do want to throw in my idea with that, and the thing is, it's also like it's a collaboration. It's like, okay, how am I giving attention to people? How am I giving attention to myself? How and how is it a give and take in this situation?
That collaboration. I mean, obviously, we're first and foremost, I'm an improviser, so we are talking about the collaboration all the time. And that collaboration really is telling a story, whatever the story is, whether that's a 3-minute story or a 45-minute story, like, we are collaborating to tell that story. And to go back to this, what Roy was talking about with finding the protagonist, right? There is often like a movement between all people on stage where we're trying to understand who has the power, who will emerge as Ariel, right? Who will emerge as King Triton?
What's gonna happen next?
What's gonna happen? Who will emerge? And in order to do that, there is some push and pull, but like you said, it's a collaboration, and our focus is on creating the story. So in order to do that, we can't be pushing and pulling for too long. We have to give up a little bit sometimes.
And that's I found, like, when I was learning narrative improv, is please everyone thank you for yes.
Yes. We'll try. I'll try.
We'll try. Okay, cool. Let's go for Little Mermaid analogies. If we have like all the different sea creatures, and Ariel's there too, but we don't know that Ariel's the main character yet. One of the couple different ways to focus on it is like, okay, who's like in each scene, who's the consistent character that keeps on showing up, and whose story do we want to know further, or how, what do we know about, like, what is the drive of this character?
Right.
What do they want?
What do they want exactly? What do they want? Yes, and we can find those things. And when we find those things, when we find the want of a character, right?
Yeah.
We can collaborate and we can work together to give that person what they want.
Yeah.
It's off stage. Man, Luke, I'm loving this conversation.
Me too. Yeah.
I'm loving it. But like off stage,
Yeah.
we tend to think like, that if I get what I want and I only pursue what I want, then I will win, or that therein lies my power. But we forget that if I help Luke get what they want, probably somewhere in the helping of Luke will help me also get what I want. And I'm talking about some deep stuff, but I was talking to my husband and he was like, no, I've recognized over the years that sometimes I have an idea and I recognize that I can do it in minutes. I could do it by myself. But in the doing by myself, I will probably exile friends, family. Like I need their help. And the thing is that journey, like bringing people along, is part of the collaboration and is part of the power. Like you are actually gaining power in collaborating with people. I wish, come on.
Yeah. I mean, and to reference Little Mermaid, like like she has Flounder to talk with,
Yes.
and like, and she wasn't on the journey alone.
You couldn't, right? Like even in the moments, listen, okay, here we are. But even in the moments where she like gets her legs, she doesn't swim to the top by herself, right?
No.
Like all the people, like Clown has to come, and Sebastian has to come, and they all have to help her do this thing, which is win over this prince. Listen, stop trying to win over princes, but it's fine. Like, but in the collaboration, in like Kiss the Girl, where all the sea creatures up and they're singing yeah, right? So listen, this is the Little Mermaid hair today, okay?
I love it. Yes.
Weird thing, but it's not just. Maybe it's my Ursula hair. Now I can't tell. But they're doing this thing together, right?
Yeah.
And in the end, like really everyone wins. If King Triton wins, he loves his daughters. The sea creatures win, they get to see Ariel grow, blah blah blah. Everyone wins. But she can't do this journey by herself. Like the power she has is in collaborating.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where you can, like with drama therapy. I mean, it's all about the collaboration and like, we could do a one-on-one, like therapy session. Great, we'll solve it. And you've got a therapist for a long time. But if you're working in collaboration with other people, you get different perspectives, you get possible friendships, you get and a lot more different ideas. I saw there was this talk about how some people how Disney was like working on like new stories, and they were saying that they sometimes have meetings and they bring in somebody else completely out of the totally different field that is not in animation, that is not in like storyboarding or anything like that. And they brought in a chef, and they were talking about the show, but the chef, and they were said we're gonna all create a dwelling for our main character, and the chef made this like a food made house, and they're like, oh, we never thought about that before. And so it's within the collaboration that and finding that healthy collaboration of give and take of power that can ultimately help everybody gain a little bit more and feel empowered and bold to to activate further into the community. Yeah.
Right. Yes. I love to activate further into the community, right? To gain, yes, we are gaining power together as a community so that individually we can feel powerful, right?
Yeah.
And that elevates us as a community, as a group.
Mhm.
And then it elevates us as individuals. And then we
Yep.
elevate as a community.
Yeah. It's a back and forth. Yeah.
It's a back and forth. We're growing.
Yeah.
Listen, I feel like I ran a marathon with you today, Luke.
We went on a journey.
We went on a journey today, but we have to leave this journey, y'all. We have to leave. Thank you to Charlotte. Thank you to Roy. Thank you for those of you who are watching. Maybe you didn't put something in the chat, but we really appreciate you being here. We'll be back next week on Monday at 4 p.m. Central. Where if you don't see us before then, we'll definitely see you on and
off the stage.
We got it. Bye.